Outlaw Radio on a Wednesday evening. Outlaw Radio Survival Instincts. Survival Instincts. Let's talk about some bottom line humanity here tonight. Welcome to the show. My name is Kevin Barnes, just in case you was wondering. The militant with a microphone, the mouthpiece of the movement, aka the original Negro Whisperer. Also known in some circles as the world-class smartass, and you'll understand that better by and by, as my old people used to say in church. Close the door. It's Outlaw Radio. Come on, close the door. Don't lock it, just close it.
Close the motherfucking door.
Close the door. It's Outlaw Radio. Share the show. Share the show. Close the door. It is what it is. I'm very happy to be here, man. I don't think people even understand what a pleasure it is for me to be able to do this, but I'll keep it to myself. Ghetto Witch Doctor in the building. How you doing tonight, my brother? What's good with you?
Peace. How y'all doing out there? Welcome to Outlaw Radio, where we talk that talk and we definitely walk that walk. Raising vibrations and elevating thought. Y'all better come on in. I'm trying to tell you, I am the black woman lover, the black man's brother, the culture teacher, hood healer, the ghetto witch doctor. Hey, mama, there go the sea, mama. Y'all better bring your ass up to the House of Vitality, man. Come on and get some of this good sea moss, this elderberry, this Sheila jit. We got all this shit, man. Y'all better come on down. Holla.
Man, foundational black Americans, the delineation movement is real. That's what we're all about. I'm not really a person who follows fads or trends. So when you hear me say I'm something, I'm for real about it, right? I'm not a go along and get along type dude. Now, let me say this. There's a number attached to our show. That number is 262-202-5131. 262-202-5131 is actually at the bottom of the screen with the Cash App if you want to donate to me, still steadily evolving the studio. But we also have a chat room, which pops hard all the time. It is a beautiful experience for me to be able to connect with listeners in the chat room, because I realize a lot of people just want to enjoy their anonymity. So as opposed to them calling in and talking, they just put what they feel in the chat room. Either way it goes, it's a beautiful thing. Dion is in the chat room early. He said, I'm in this motherfucker. Shout out to Dion. DeVille Willis, Q Love, he said, good evening, Outlaw family. My brother, how you doing, Q? How you doing? Y'all please join in on this conversation. Mondays and Wednesdays are the targets that I chose out of the week on the calendar. 7:30 p.m. Central Standard Time until heaven knows when. It might go long, it might go short, but it's damn sure go, right? So welcome to the show, man. This really is about you all. Like, come on, we do the heavy lifting on this show because we just talk, right? Mm-hmm. But what you want to do is you want to say things that other people are thinking, but they don't necessarily get the opportunity to say out loud and really build on those kinds of things, right? So different kinds of foundational black methodology and ideologies. Like, are you questioning what they told you, trying to find the real? Then this is the show for you. Are you a person that has a deeper understanding and surface understanding? See, surface understanding is just sharing some shit on social media when you actually don't even know the validity of it, right? But deeper than that goes into, well, I'm not going to put that up because that's flawed in its very logic. Case in point, Dennis Rodman was... it was April Fool's yesterday. Maybe some people didn't notice. They reported that Dennis Rodman, legendary basketball player, was found in his apartment, right? Because he had basically done the David Carradine, in which he mixes asphyxiation into his sexual program. And y'all don't know what asphyxiation is, and y'all don't know that there are people whose sexual preference is to get choked, right? Like, y'all playing with it, but it's people who be like, nah, for real, I want you to tie a rope around my neck and hang me, right? Like, it's right. And this David Carradine, you're my age, remember Kung Fu, Kamar? David Carradine, that's how he went out, right? Like trying to get hung for something, right? But it was all false. And I seen people share that post unapologetically. As a matter of fact, as hard as we tried to make sure all the information shared in the People's News Network is accurate, that post was in there. It was fake news. So I'm saying you have to start looking for a deeper understanding than just the surface understanding, Kamar. You looking at the plant on top of the ground, but you ain't thinking about the roots that's underground. It blows people's minds to know that there's scientific research done on the fact that trees communicate with each other via their roots.
That's a fact.
They even have a social classification, so trees that they don't like don't get none of the good shit, don't get none of the nutrients. This is proven. You got to have an understanding that goes beneath the surface. You have to have that's why they call it an understanding, Kamar. You see that? Mm-hmm. That's why they call it an understanding, because you have to understand where it came from. Hey, man, 262-202-5131. I am on one. Obviously, you can tell Kev already on this bullshit. Let's go. That's the kind of show this is. Jesse says, peace out, lost from a mile high income and illegal migrant deported, soon to be city arrested. Frontline Black News Revolutionary Agenda. Hashtag I'm not your enemy. I had a damn good time on their show last night. Lord have mercy. I had so much fun. Thank you. Shabaka and Jesse. Thank you. I Shabaka on their show last night. You know how Shabaka calls in and snaps? I Shabaka last night. I Shabaka. Brooke Love, how you doing, my sister? She said, peace and blessings, everyone. Please share the show. I'm learning that I have to get likes and all kinds of shit. I'm not used to asking nobody for no likes and shit.
No, we don't ask. It's just gonna come. Just know they gonna come. That's how we do it.
Right.
But I'm gonna tell you something, Kev. Speaking of that, right? Speaking of that, what I noticed is TikTok, you ain't gotta ask for shit. They support the shit out you. All you gotta do is keep posting them motherfuckers. They gonna love them motherfuckers. Man, you get so much support on TikTok. And it's crazy because all the people on Facebook, I know these people. And they don't be liking the posts and none of that shit. I be working hard as a motherfucker, man. But on TikTok, nigga, they show love.
I would say this. I think people say, well, you've been doing this podcast for 13, 14 years. You are obviously an individual who wants to be liked. You want attention. You want people to. Dude, I'm not that at all. I'm actually the antithesis of that. I like to be low key. I like to be in the room and you don't know I'm there.
Yeah, I feel it. But why not get paid at the same time?
Well, my conviction from above comes from, that's a relationship. That's he and I had that conversation. But what I'm saying is I really don't do the likes and pandering and saying, hey, come follow me. Like, I don't even really promote the damn show, Kamar. You know that. You know, like, you don't even really promote the shit. So I said all that to say I'm not a clout chaser. So I talk about things from a perspective that I feel is the best way to discuss them, which is from all angles. You understand this part of it, but do you understand that part of it? You said you understand, but do you overstand? Right? Y'all jump on in with me. Y'all jump on. Close the door. Somebody close the door. Close the door. It's Outlaw Radio.
Close it.
Close it. You heard what I said. Close it. Shout out to Brooke Love. She said true. Jesse said, thanks for coming through last night, Kev. You are always welcome. Hey, man. I got to talk my shit. It was beautiful. Jasmine, shout out to Jazz. Jazz doing big things. She said they don't like the post because they want to remain blind on the topics that y'all be discussing. Y'all be forcing people to face the truth, and everybody ain't ready for that. But I genuinely appreciate y'all platform and tap in when I can. You know what? That's what's important to me, Jazz, because I've been out here on these revolutionary streets, and I know who's who, and I know who does what and how people move. So when you get something like that from a person who I know is generally and genuinely out here doing things, your criticism of the community don't outweigh your contribution to it, right? So I appreciate that. Dre Day, he said, Outlaw, check in. There we go. Y'all do that. Outlaw check-in. Let's get that going. Ruben Anderson, he said, what's good? How you doing, Ruben? Ruben, how you doing, my brother? Appreciate you. Kamar, I'm you know, I got to do the political shit, right? It's a thing for us. I want to shout out the state of Wisconsin. I want to shout out a state that's 86% white. I want to shout out a state that the Republicans were able to take for our presidential election. Because last night, the people spoke. They showed that Elon Musk's $1 million investments and the attempt to keep further, you're trying to further muddy the waters. We're gonna talk about survival instincts and all this, but Brad Schimmel lost to Crawford last night, and she whooped his ass. That in itself is a statement that the people are not feeling cool with what Trump and Musk and the rest of these white supremacists are doing with their white nationalist platform out in Washington, D.C. I want to say that. So shout out to the state of Wisconsin. You know, because we as voters have to make statements. And Kamar, a lot of people, maybe their platforms didn't discuss this, but we discussed that the only real saving grace that we had with the executive order thing was the Supreme Court and the judges. And the judges were the first ones to say, hell no, injunction. I'm blocking that shit. What Tupac say? You live in fantasies, nigga. I reject your deposit. Niggas don't know how profound that was when Tupac said that. When I was young and I heard, I said, oh, shit. I reject your deposit. Yeah, so the state spoke. The people spoke. I talked about, okay, the presidential election is one thing and it's full of hype. People jump in. But what about the local judges? We're going to start talking about congressmen and senators. We're going to vote in the midterms because that makes a difference. And people have told me, fuck voting. That shit don't mean nothing. Look, motherfuckers voted so hard in Milwaukee, they ran out of ballots, Kamar. They ran out of ballots. That's how people showed up. People pissed. They mobilized. They're polarized. Some bullshit. See? So shout out to the state of Wisconsin, man. You know, we got work to do. Obviously, this like Earl Henning say, this is white Wisconsin. But I'm glad white people can see now, oh, y'all thought he was just going to fuck us? Oh, you're getting fucked too. Talk about Trump's messy ass. This motherfucker got me. He's a son of a bitch. Shout out to Brooke Love again in the chat room. She said, sure did. We could not be bought. That's what we showed. We just showed that. And y'all don't know, Elon Musk was here giving random white people, if they was affiliated with the Republican Party, college students, $1 million. Get everybody, get them to vote for us. They was making phone calls. You was getting text messages. It didn't matter. And I seen one of the white Republicans say, shit, if Musk didn't put that money in there, he'd have lost by more. She kicked his ass. They called the election early, Kamar. That shit is like 30, 45 minutes in. They're like, man, you got to call her and tell her it's good. Come on, man. I keep saying the power is in the hand of the people. Don't I keep saying that, Kamar? If we sit back and allow these motherfuckers to do whatever they want to do, then it's going to be done. But America ain't never been for the bullshit. Right. That's just the nature of this country. Jesse said we shook Dre punk ass. Now we out of the closet. Bars. Rest. Yeah, I didn't want to say because that's what he said after I reject your deposit. Right? You shook Dre punk ass. Now we out of the closet. Pac was a motherfucker. Jazz, how you doing, my sister? She said I think we've all given up on local elections. They was able to count the ballots for this election, but mishandled the local city elections. Insane. Well, I think the most important one with us is the mayoral election, which nobody made accusations that it was mishandled. We have a mayor who is just occupying space. Listen, you might like him, you might not. Matter of fact, I actually like our mayor. I like him because he's a black man, right? But when it comes time for evaluations, and I said I was going to say this on every show moving forward, when it comes down to a tax hike in which there was all kinds of conditions attached to it, in which you were borrowing on the backs of taxpayers in the first place, and then you reap $200 million and you give 90% back to city pension employed. Like, and people say, Kevin, it started a long time. I know. But if you're a leader, let's say that should never happen again. That should never, nobody should receive 90% of $200 million, Kamar.
Right.
No group deserves that much. Okay. Let me catch my chat room, y'all. I'm happy y'all here with me. Brooke Love. She said I voted and they did run out of ballots. Yeah, they had to wait. Somebody went to Kinko's or something. I don't know what happened. They said, we out of ballots. We didn't know you motherfuckers was coming. Look, I drove past my local voting place, and normally Kamar is 2-3 cars. I can get in there late. You number 25. I'm in and out. It was cars up and down the block. I was like, I don't know if I can handle the whole way. My skin need lotion and my teeth need Colgate. Y'all don't know nothing about that. That's LL. Jesse said I'm in white-erado, like 80 to 90% white. I'm sorry. Carrie Walker Jones, how you doing, my sister? She said he fucked them the last time he was in office. They forgot. They don't realize in order to get us, they have to tear down themselves first. Okay. Jesse says I'm giving my cracker mayor a F. Jasmine, she says they most definitely mishandled the ballots for the presidential elections in Milwaukee. I was front and center. Shit was a mess. Yeah, but so yeah, that's foul, right? That's foul type shit. But when you talk about the people who are actually getting screwed over right now, i.e. Latinos and white women, right? And a bunch of people who thought that he was talking to black people, they misunderstood this shit. Like, okay, he doesn't like niggers. And he don't. But they forgot that they enjoy living off our hustle, our sweat equity. So when we get equal rights, when you get some kind of anti-discrimination bill passed that's never specific to foundational black Americans, it's for everybody who's considered a minority. And if you say I'm gay or lesbian, I'm a minority, even though you're a white man, right? Whatever. Brooke Love said, right. So she said, who is this? This is Dion. He said, you hear the white people at Bragg campaign speech scream cheat? I didn't. You know what? Because I'm Kendrick Lamar. Turned the TV off, Kamar. It's okay. Because that's what we wanted to happen. We needed to make a statement. And Wisconsin is a swing state. And so I know Dion always argues about us utilizing our vote as a bargaining chip, but you have to understand swing power when it comes to elections. And there's enough black people to swing any election. Stop thinking that it's not. She said they enjoyed the misery set up on us. Well, see, black people been dealing with, thank you, Brooke Love, because you helping me go right into the theme of the show, which is survival instinct. Black people have been put in such a precarious position in this country that we actually had to adjust. And we talk about humans over time. Humans evolve, you develop. And so the original thing that kicked in for us is what we call survival instinct. Okay. Now people don't, because we've talked about this, Kamar, like in which people who are very poor, who really lack the basic resources, like somebody who's literally like, I don't even know where I'm going to live, where I'm going to stay tomorrow night. Right? I don't know how I'm going to get my next meal. What kicks in is your survival instincts. This is why people might label this as post-traumatic slave syndrome, but I don't, because I think that's minimizing it. I think this is just a basic natural human function called your survival instincts. And it became collective for us because within our communities, we were all in the same mode. let's not get this twisted. You can blame diabetes and high blood pressure. You can blame on that, all that on our diet. But the real breakdown of diabetes is your body has been hormonally releasing so much adrenaline for so long that it blows your pancreas. You know why that's common? Why that's how, because where we live, your survival, I got to survive. Now, here's some of the principles of your survival instinct for humans. The first thing is self-preservation. We all have an innate desire to survive. You want to survive. Nobody's like, man, I hope I wake up dead. I'm trying to live. I want to live, right? Come on, we all want to live, regardless if you think your life is good or bad. But until you get to the point where you say, I'm going to kill myself, which is a whole different set of mental health circumstances. So I'm not really approaching it from that perspective. But when we start to talk about what is self-preservation, your mind automatically does some things that you don't know that it does. So you start to categorically survive, meaning, first of all, social survival instincts, meaning I'm seeking and going to find the individuals that can assist me with my existence, regardless of how they're able to do it. So I need food. This motherfucker steals food. I'm fucking with him, right? And not pick and save, not Aldi's, none of that. He's next to me. He know how to get the vegetables. Now I might be able to do something else. So he socially, now come on, we become almost like a tribe. We eat over here. You know what I'm saying? We figure out a way to get some money. So you do that socially, right? And then we talk about the need for consistency, right? What that means is you want something in your life that you can depend on. So you sit, whether it's a drug or whether it's some kind of affiliation with something like a group that says, hey, you're somebody, you matter, you fit in with us, you always got a place to stay. We start to try to figure out how to survive. And so, but that requires a lot of 24-hour, 365-day maintenance. So yeah, your goddamn body is, when you out on the block, you own your P's and Q's. Adrenaline's pumping. Adrenaline, especially if it's some shit going on. Kamar, you on watch. You ain't just calm like, hey, I'm over here. You like, shit. Hey, what was that? Who was that? Hey, y'all see that car? Hey, man, I seen this earlier. It's a constant. So a lot of us have gotten to the point where we feel like, well, I have to survive, and the only way I can survive is this way or that way. But I think you have to be open to different ways to survive, right? So I have to eat to survive, right, Kamar? But that don't mean I should eat whatever. That don't mean I should say, shit, I don't care if it's healthy or not. I'm eating this shit so I can be full. I need to survive, and in order for me to survive long term, I have to figure out I shouldn't be eating that. I should eat this because I need sustenance, right? So I think we get stuck on one part of it and say, man, I'm just out here trying to survive. Well, by robbing people?
I think it's just a figure of speech, but it's not a figure of speech. You know what I'm saying? It's a figure of speech, but it's not a figure of speech. Like, let's see, you think about like two different types of surviving. One of them is just to keep breathing. You know what I'm saying? And the other one, you know what I'm saying, is I'm really trying to survive out here. I'm trying to eat. I don't know where my next meal coming from. Or, you know what I mean? Or you could just be like, it's just your everyday. I'm surviving out here. I'm making it. You know what I'm saying? I'm making it out here. Well, instead of saying survive in that case, you probably should say thrive.
I am surviving, but I need to thrive.
Right.
It's like being in a relationship with someone who's tolerating you or loving you.
Right.
Or really in tune with you. Right? So there's levels to understanding. And that's why you always hear me say, I don't want to hear nobody talking about no slave shit. Because if you have not gotten an opportunity to do anything else since that shit ended, you got an opportunity to sit down and think about this shit. Because your ass know it's the difference between then and now. Now, have you adjusted? And God bless you if you still got that same mentality as a slave from 1875, right? Because we talk about it, but we don't really even understand what that's like. None of us have ever woke up on a plantation. We didn't even, listen, I got Jim Crow, which was the last part of it, from my mom and them. I never seen none of it. Now, I've seen institutionalized racism. I'm looking at America today and seeing live active racism from a white nationalist government that is we have allowed to run amok on us, and it's our fault. You brought this on yourself. You brought this on yourself. Let me see. Brooke Love says, okay, let me catch up with the chat room, y'all. Y'all keep hitting me up. Hit me up. Jesse said, facts, Kev. We FBA are the swing vote. We the swing vote. Brooke Love said, we're strong and resilient. Absolutely, my sister. Erica Hunt in the building. How you doing, Erica? She said, hey, Outlaws. She said Susan Crawford for Wisconsin won. Jesse said, facts, Kev, it's survival instincts. DeVille Willis, he said survival instinct when the going gets tough, the tough get going. Yeah. Eat, kill or be killed, right? Kerry Walker Jones said they need us for flavor. Soul food is the result of survival. Absolutely. Everything we created everything from nothing because we weren't given anything. Everything America loves, but we created it from nothing because y'all never gave us a goddamn thing. Jesse Parrish said thrive, not just survive, was on my slogans for mayor. Hey, man, great minds think alike. 262-202-5131. Hit us up, Outlaw Radio. Survival instinct on a Wednesday evening. Now, what I'm saying is, so I understand, but I don't understand. Because I understand that your survival instinct kicks in. I don't understand how you handling it. I don't know why you think that victimizing other people so you can survive will give you longevity. That's not something you can continue to build on because eventually somebody will come and victimize you. You get what you put out, right? So instead of just saying, well, I'm just going to sit here and survive, why not say, let me take this to another level? Everything has another level. I don't care how cold you think you is.
Some people stuck in the dark. You know what I mean? Some people stuck in the dark. Like, okay, you could go get a job or you could do something was easy. Somebody close out here, you could go steal something from somebody close. That's a lot easier. You know what I mean? And if you stuck in the dark, your mind ain't even gonna think about, you know what I'm saying, doing the right thing. You finna think of the first thing you could do. Everybody else doing this shit out here, that's just a dark soul, man. To think like that, you know what I mean? And like you say, that survival mode, we don't know how far down that hole they are either. You know, the whole fam could be at the crib starving like a motherfucker.
Yeah.
Couple days type shit. Like, I'm going to get a job, that's another 2 weeks. You know what I'm saying?
Yep. And I can see how some people feel like, well, I'm going to live here. I'm going to die here, right here. That's it. And it happens. But it happens. It's the it's a reality. Yeah, it happens for them because you're speaking, you're making an affirmation. You're saying that. You telling the world that. Right. You telling the world that. That's all I expect.
You know, when I be at the store helping people and they be telling me what's going on and I tell them what they have to do, and they may say, well, I don't know if I could give my cheese up. I need my cheese. Stop telling yourself that. You know what I'm saying? First off, if you quit telling yourself, why are you telling yourself that? Your body gonna do what your brain tell it to do.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? If your brain's saying I can't stop it, well, shit, it's your brain making the decision to put the shit in your mouth.
I hate to sound redundant, but I keep saying we are giving away more power than what's taken from us. We acquiesce. We say, oh, they won't let me. I can't. I'm gone. And then the people who say, hell no matter what, I'm going to do da-da-da-da. We say, oh, that nigga crazy. That nigga's crazy. He ain't finna have no store where he's selling sea moss, making no real money. That nigga crazy. This nigga talking about, he said, this nigga sell seaweed, man. Come on,
Yeah.
little do they know, right?
Little
Do they know. He said, nigga, I just got back from Vegas.
You know what I'm saying?
Selling this seaweed, nigga. So my message would be,
I'm selling sea moss to your favorite sea moss seller.
Come on, man. I'm your rapper's favorite rapper.
You know what I'm saying?
Right. Let me see. He said, right, Kamar. This is Jesse. He said, right, Kamar. Stop telling yourself that. The whole point of this conversation is, even if you find yourself in a situation right now, and this is the great part about this show, if you are in this situation and you just so happen to cross this show, this is a point for you to take what we said and investigate it and say, this might be something I've never thought about. If you're down, just stop and say, I'm in a hole, but I got to stop digging. I have to stop digging.
That's right.
You have to. I know.
Like you say.
Right. Come on. It's like you said, well, man, shit, I can't do without my cheese. Well, the cheese is why your ass is dizzy.
Straight up. The cheese is your shovel.
You can't do it. Just take off for a little bit. Just don't eat as much cheese. Start working on it. I'm just saying.
Right.
It's a whole mental thing for us. And I think for some of us, like you said, they're in such a dark place that it's hard to overcome. I understand that. But the one thing I've learned since
they're gonna stay there though.
Well, the one thing that I've learned since I've become a certified professional life coach is that you have to forget about, to a certain degree, the past. It means something and it's there. But you got to look at where you are today versus where you want to be 6 to 8 months from now. And then it just takes a whole bunch of adjustments and a whole bunch of kind of like, it's like cooking a meal where, oh, you taste it and say, now this needs some oregano.
Small
shit. Right. Right. It's nothing overnight. Nobody should ever tell you, oh, you can change overnight. You cannot change overnight.
Hey, listen, I tell them pick one thing to get consistent with in your lifestyle. Once you got about a month under your belt, pick something else.
Build on it.
Take something out of your life or add something good to it. It could just be a walk around the block, but you know what I mean? And you're getting consistent with that. You add something else after another month. You know what I mean? Maybe take something away. And you know what I mean? You just build on it. Eventually, man, you ain't even going to want a lot of the shit you've been doing.
Well, the first thing you got to do is stop worrying about what other people think about you. And you really have to develop a thicker skin, because I've never in my life, only from a few people that I've met, and those individuals are people who I hold near and dear as someone that I say, that's a real dude right there. That's a good dude. Where I said what I wanted to do, and they said, hey, man, well, you can make that shit happen, man. Okay, man, go ahead and do that shit, man. It's the other probably 95% of people say, man, how you gonna do that shit? Man, yeah, I hear you, but you know they ain't gonna, and it just becomes like, all right, excuse me. So you got to really start shutting out the noise from the peanut gallery. Now, I'm not trying to be overly like a motivational speaker or nothing like that, but I think part of this game that we're up against is mental. I think a great majority of it is mental. And at the end of the day, it's the battle for our sanity, because the more off our rocker we are, the more profitable we are. I'm so fucked up that I do every drug, I drink every liquor, I follow every fad. I don't have any care at all about financial literacy or anything. I am literally just occupying a space, and I want to look good while I'm doing it, and at least fool myself. I eat high price shit. That's why I always laugh when people put their receipt from when they go out to eat, like it's $600.
Fool ass.
Okay.
And that shit wasn't even good for you. You just spent $600.
It's a beautiful thing. It's a beautiful. Kamar froze on us, y'all. Kamar froze on us. I'm sure he'll be back. Jesse said that Kev, we quick to call someone crazy that's wanting to do something to better themselves or for the community. Not like Kanye West. Like Kanye West is crazy, right? And he's a Looney Tune. But I'm talking about a person that's saying, hey man, this is what I want to do. Somebody who's telling you about what they want to do and say, man, I have an idea. I'd like to see this come to fruition eventually. And then you always got people saying, man, that nigga's crazy, right? On some Richard Pryor type shit. I want to wait for Kamar to come back because I really want him to be a part of this. But in between time, y'all can call in 262-202-5131. And the chat room's popping, as you can tell. Brooke Love says she agrees. Let me see. Brooke Love, there we go. So I'm telling y'all, man, like in terms of this election that we just kind of bore witness to, I feel like a statement was made. Now, so somebody said that they were already saying this was false, this election was rigged. But there's also one who says people who say votes were thrown out in the presidential election. I'm not as upset, even though maybe it could have turned the tide, maybe it couldn't have. But I felt like with this last election, America spoke. I felt like white people in America spoke. And I felt like we have been on this ride, especially post George Floyd. We've been on this ride where we were kind of thinking that equality and justice for all and diversity and inclusion, we thought this was going to be the new wave. This is finally going to happen. We finally have a nation that's investing in all this diversity, all these initiatives to make sure gay people have rights and black people have rights and white women and Jewish people and Asians and Latinos and Hmongs. We thought that was the wave in America. Little did you know that old white people the whole time was not with the shits. Like, we got to get this motherfucking country back. We have lost. I ain't gonna lie to you. The whole ideology of white nationalism was lost on this country because it hadn't been seen since, early 80s, Reagan, Bush, right? We kind of felt like, hey, no, we're evolved now in America. This is where the terminology woke comes from. So when it comes to the presidential election, I feel like this country spoke. White women and white men overwhelmingly supported Donald Trump. They tried to blame it on us. Latinos, sweeping support. They tried to blame it on us. It wasn't true. It's a misnomer. 85% or even more of black people voted democratically still. Oh, there's a slight uptick in black votership, Republican-wise. It was such a small drop in the bucket. And the minority city in this state, which is Milwaukee County, Trump didn't win it. He won the rest of the state. The common denominator with the rest of the state is there's a lot of old white people. Old white people had to kick that white nationalism back in. So America, you brought this on yourself. That's what you did. You brought this on yourself. And now that this old white man is going crazy, I'm digging just seeing the reactions of people. And so that election last night was a statement that, because they even said that a lot of individuals who voted Republican actually flipped and crossed the aisle and voted against him. Because, come on, man, let's see that we can all see the tyranny. We can see the tyranny involved with the whole Trump thing. Like, now, okay, so you want to go after the African American History Museum at the Smithsonian, and you say that it promotes the wrong kind of anti-American ideology. But I don't hear you talking about the Holocaust Museum. There's a lot of museums for a lot of things, but why is your focal point the Museum of African American History? And it's the Smithsonian, so it's the creme de la creme of museums, the Smithsonian. There's so many attacks on let's wipe history clean. to the point where established Black World War I and II and Vietnam and Korean veterans who achieved a high level of soldiering, their information has been removed. But you're now talking about putting back up racist monuments that had come down post George Floyd. When we got on this whole, oh, that was racist. Oh, that was racist. Oh, that was racist. Let's take that down. Let's cancel this person. So white nationalism is in effect. And I feel like that election last night was, to me, at least the opening shot of, okay, let's put white nationalism back where it's supposed to be. Because it's proven ineffective. It's proven to be flawed. Look at it. It didn't last. It didn't last. And it's not going to last this time as long as the people got something to say about it. So that election last night, like I said, I had to go back because you was out, Kumar. So I had to kind of go back to talking about that election. So welcome back. You're muted.
Yeah, I don't know what happened.
Yeah, it's usually it, right? Right. That's usually what you said. Like, man, I don't know what the fuck happened. This shit just cut off. You know, we done been on the show where my shit just said, okay, enough. I'm like, damn, what happened? I don't know what happened. I'm like the mayor, man, you bullshit. So I like to give credit where there may be some credit due. I want to shout out a nonprofit here. It's called the African American Roundtable. This story is also in the Journal Sentinel. I don't believe I've gotten a chance to share it in the People's News Network just yet, but it actually was posted last week. But there's this nonprofit called the African American Roundtable, in which they have had ongoing conversations about something called participatory budgeting. Okay. And what this means is that there has to be somehow, some way, a component of city government, i.e. the Common Council, in which the citizens actually dictate what money that's there can be spent on, how it's allocated. Now, this is in light of a $2.4 million, I guess some sort of grant that came to us as a part of the American recovery, the post COVID money. And so they have been petitioning to create a situation where there are actually citizens involved in figuring out what's going to be done with this money. So this money has been sitting there. And so I kind of got a breakdown of what the money could possibly be, how they could possibly delegate the money. So what the Common Council, one of their committee of budget and finance, is actually giving a thumbs up on this to move it forward, to say, okay, let's vote on this to make this a thing. Now, there's going to be the need for some oversight committees and things but this has been a 2-year, 3-year struggle by these young brothers and sisters at the African American Roundtable to bring in participatory spending when it comes to money donated or given to the city so it can be allocated correctly. So the way they want it broken down is $100,000 for, or at least they're advocating this, $100,000 for refugees in the city, the Hanan refugee group, $75,000 for violence and homeless prevention, $50,000 for the teens who work for teens who grow greens. They have greenhouses. It's a very, very valid program in which kids learn basically urban agriculture. $50,000 for suicide prevention. This is $15,000 for earn and learn. If you know what earn and learn is, this is a summer work program for teens for wage increases for them. And $30,000 for housing rehab in Metcalf Park. Once again, this money comes from the American Recovery Act post COVID. So what this all means is that there's a movement now. And so it's too bad we didn't have this kind of conversation about the $200 million, right? But this is the money that's sitting there, $2.4 million. And I do think the community deserves the right to say, we should have an opinion on where y'all put this money. I believe that's a good thing. So when something good happens, we'll talk about it. When something that's leadership thinking outside the box that's beneficial for the people, we will always discuss it on the show. That's why I always ask, if you know something somebody's doing, please call in and let me know. Dion, I got you on the line. What's popping with you, homie?
Nigga shit. Nothing, man. Chilling, man. What's happening, man? Just shit out tonight and shit. I'm at the laundromat and shit because I got drenched today out there in that rain. Fucking with that recycling on the east side and shit, man. I'm talking about nigga guy. Woo. Man, you just don't know. But was happy to see. I mean, I just voted because I voted. You know what I'm saying? I mean, I don't know. I mean, it was good to see, people come out and, camaraderie and talk. But I think, I don't know about the one thing, what was it, the referendum about the ID with the voter ID, because I'm like, well, how many people still living from 1917? You know what I'm saying? I mean, like, you gotta have an ID to drive. Right. You gotta have an ID to do everything. So I mean, and I guess, that'll quell the Republicans with their bullshit. Because for some reason they think niggas just out here. Like, I just don't be understanding these white folks, man. It's like, man, it's so crazy, man, because they be mystified by bullshit. They really believe it. Like a motherfucker say, it's hard enough to get a nigga to vote one time. You think we just about to be out there just fraudulently voting? I'm about to vote. Like it's a motherfucker with a, back in the days how they used to have the old burglar with the mask over his eyes and shit, and you tiptoeing, creeping election ballots and shit like that. Like I just voted like for my first time this year after 40-something years on this earth. Like, motherfuckers don't give a fuck about that shit enough to be out here with that shit, but with white people, they're swerving down to God and, somewhere, somehow, the niggas are,
You said you voted, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Now, you contributed to the fact that a statement was made against the Trump regime tyranny. Having a judge, because we talk about states having their own rights, right? Because a lot of people have to understand that there's the federal law and then states have their own rights. States have their own Supreme Court justice. They're justices. They have their own Supreme Court. So if something is enacted in this state and we don't like it and it comes from Washington, we can charge that in our Supreme Court and say we ain't rocking with that. So it's very important to have the right judges in place. Like, that's long been a conversation we've had on this show. So for you, I feel like you voted and you're not giving yourself enough credit for saying, I maximized my voice by voting. I contributed to her victory. Not that you love her or not that you're a Democrat, but right is right and wrong is wrong, right? So you voted. You should be saying, okay, and you are anti-Trump. You've come on here and said you want to execute black people who voted for Trump. So anything that's against him, anything that removes a brick in his foundation, I would think you would big up. I feel like you're downplaying. I feel like you downplaying that you actually did vote and that you actually contributed to it. So I just want to give you a
No, I'm not downplaying it. What I'm downplaying is the fact that I'm not even downplaying that. I'm just talking about how, I don't see nothing wrong with having voter, people present their IDs at the ballot box.
That was the referendum. That was the next thing on the ballot. That was aside from the public, what was it? The Department of the Education, Superintendent of Education. And there was
I voted for Jill Underling.
Okay. Now did she win? I didn't even look at hers. I closed the door.
Yeah, she won.
Okay.
Because that, like sometimes because I didn't know enough about, I just like shit I hear, you know what I'm saying? Like when I be listening to NOV or, the truth or something like that, you know what I'm saying? So I just knew about
you learn all this shit from listening to them, right? Okay.
No, we don't really talk. I ain't really hear too much talk about DPI, the instructor, or DPI, you know what I'm saying? The Department of Public.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying? But I mean, as far as the other shit, but then, I'm a like an encyclopedia, my motherfucker. But like that be on other shit though, you know what I'm saying? I'm more national than I am local, you know what I'm saying? Because I was like, I live in Milwaukee, you know what I'm saying? But this was nationally, people were talking about it. Like even my girl down there in Chicago, she was like, yeah, y'all having woo going on, I was like, yeah, you know what I'm saying? And I was like, she did win, you know what I'm saying? But she was like, yeah, that's good. But I just feel like right now, basically like you were saying, that anybody or anything that's affiliated or associated with Trump is like, y'all got, I mean, he's going to be a losing factor with it. You know what I'm saying? Because he's doing a lot of shit to harm innocent people, basically, like you said, you know. And but as you said, we was telling him about Project 2025, and I'm just so sick of dude be coming over here. Like, I just can't deal with the fallacies. You know what I'm saying? Like last, what was that, Monday? When me and Erica was on there, like, dude, like, when is you going? Like, what type of alternate universes you living in, though? You know what I'm saying? Like, Trump could get on there and be like, nigga. And you be like, is Trump racist? And I'm like, no, Trump ain't racist. You know what I'm saying? Ain't that crazy, though, cuz?
I don't, but do you expect anything different from him?
Right, but you know what? I expect the truth.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying? That's all. Like, they had it was a Republican on, you know what I'm saying? Because they do what they call, like, Vote Central. And dude was a Republican, and he was, like, making shit. Even though, you know, like, I swear to God, them motherfuckers will make it seem like they was talking about DEI and other shit. You know, like, I do believe in DEI. You know what I'm saying? Like, even if it's one person, one nigga, let me stop saying nigga, one African American, if it's one African American to benefit from it, good. You understand what I'm saying? Maybe that one African American to shed light on other things, you know, but they were talking like, well, and then, you know, for some reason, Republicans, they're like, well, blah, 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 blah. You know what I'm saying? I don't see how a person can be affiliated with a party is really for your demise, though. You feel what I'm saying, though? Like, I'm conservative, but I'm not that conservative where motherfuckers can be like, we want all you niggas to die. And I'm still like, yeah, I'm a Republican. No, I'm not. I'll be an independent or some other shit. Like, remember back in the days when Kanye West said George Bush didn't like black people? And even when George Bush was in office, see, now the racism is more outward, but it was covert then. You know what I'm saying? Bush would get up in there, talking his little nigga shit. And, you know, we just sitting there like, yeah, you know what I'm saying? So, you know, that's just how that shit go. You know what I'm saying? But yeah, I'm about to mute y'all. I'm about to go in this laundromat real quick and finish listening to you. And I'm still gonna stay online though.
I got you.
Yeah.
I don't think racism has ever been overt in the United States of America. As far as black people are concerned, when was it not right in your face? Like, I love how people say, well, it's institutionalized. You can't see it, right? Like, that was the difference between the North and the South. Why couldn't you see it? Segregation is the ultimate evidence of racism, right? I don't, when has it been, like, I feel like there's no reason any of us as foundational Black Americans should be under any illusions, right? And what he's saying about Orlando is how it's based on your personal politics. The only problem that I have with Orlando is that he will continuously dance around the reality. If you support them, but be honest about them, right? Like, don't, because you're not fooling us. We're not, like, you're turning no one to your side by not being transparent, because you're making yourself look like everybody who listens when that brother comes on and has the same. I've never heard anybody say, hey man, that brother making sense. You know what I'm saying? So, but let him be who he is. Let him be who he is. I don't, if that's the way you are, that's the way you are. I'm not gonna waste a whole lot of time trying to change you. That's not my job. But I welcome you to the platform. Mama Jenkins in the chat room. How you doing, Mama Jenkins? How you doing, Mama Jenkins? She said, good evening, my outlaw family. What in the world? Cory Booker, Mr. Super Filibuster. Right? What did he really go for 20 hours? Right? Like, no, did he? Is that what happened with Cory Booker? Like, that's crazy. We got a guest, I guess, a guest who's not supposed to be a guest, but still is a guest.
I love being a guest. It's like, you know, it's like a special treat when I pop up. It's like, hey, it's the juice lady.
Right.
Yeah.
Give me your best 15 minutes. No, welcome to the show, Courtney. How you doing?
That's a waste of a vote right there. Waste of a vote.
Oh my gosh, I voted right. Don't be hating, man. You wasn't even voting until like a couple months ago. Or is you still not voting but just talking? Like, what we doing?
Man, y'all argue like a couple. I think y'all need to go on a date. Like, for real. Y'all bicker like It sounds like me and my wife sometimes. Like, you get on out the way. Like, get your whole ass out the way. Like, oh, who you talking to?
Hey, you know, I'm making a practice of not letting people like that move me so much. I'm trying.
Yeah.
That's something I'm working on.
Yes.
You know what I mean? Because see, there's so many people out here, man, who I don't agree with. But sometimes you just got to sit through the bullshit. You know what I mean? It's just so I can keep my peace.
Very
You know
true.
what I mean? Fuck it. Let them talk for a minute. I'll say how I don't agree, and that's it.
I agree.
That's what I'm working at right there. You know what I'm saying?
I just so happen to be in a
I was just finna say, because we got people like Scott, you know what I'm saying? And like he feed off that. Well, you know what I'm saying? When you go back and forth bang with him, he feed off that shit. You know, I think Orlando do too a little bit. You know what I'm saying?
Of course.
He like that shit. You know what I'm saying?
Yes.
So like, why give a motherfucker what they want?
Yeah, I just so happen to be in the business of talking to people. Mm-hmm. And so sometimes when you talk to people, you end up having.
I ain't talking about you, Kev. I ain't
talking about you. I'm not. No, this ain't in regard to nothing you said. We're on the same page. Right. I'm saying for some people who may be annoyed when I allow Orlando to call in and talk. Like there's people say, Kev, why would you even let this nigga call? Why not? Why not? Right? I mean, so. Once again, I'm in the business of talking to people. So
it wouldn't be no fun show if we was all saying the same thing.
Right.
I know. Come on, man. Different
and
strokes.
And Kamar, like I agree completely. You know, being on this whole therapist, counselor path, you know, it's some shit motherfuckers be saying that you do not agree with. And you can't turn your face up. You know, your face got to be kind of straight. You just got to listen and jot it down. You got to, shit be sounding crazy as hell, but you
do like Kev doing right now. Look up in the sky and shit. Like.
Right. You know, he ponders on it. Right. So, well.
Hey, that's my life coach face.
Yeah, right, but you know what though? What's so sad about brothers like that is he's seeing attack on a black community. Like you feel what I'm saying? Like it's a difference to have your beliefs. Okay, you're a Republican, good for you. You know what I'm saying? But to see your community being attacked, you know what I'm saying? Like I voted because I seen that the community was gonna be attacked. People I love was gonna be hurt. I was gonna be affected to it. You know what I'm saying? Like, just say for instance, like I be saying about FHA. If FHA was a DEI program, I benefited from that. Yes, I did. I own a house on 79th Street. Glad they own it almost 6 years in July. So if that was a DEI program, I needed that program because I don't rent from nobody. You know what I'm saying? But just to see somebody participate in something that's a demise to their community. Hey, excuse me, sir. I'll be right back. Okay. I'll be right back. Just to see somebody participate in something that's a demise to their community, that's sad. Now, don't get me wrong. I was part of that, you know what I'm saying? And I can't say that I knew better, I didn't know better, because I sold crack to the community. So, but you know, I mean, I feel like by me going to prison, not reoffending, ain't so cracking, since I got caught selling crack. You know what I'm saying? It's like I feel like I deserve redemption. You know what I'm saying? Like, yeah, D, you don't sell crack no more. You know, everything is forgiven. But just to be sitting up there participating, like, yeah, this person, and he's not racist, and he's this, and he's that, and he's the best thing since apple pie. The man got on national TV and said, well, I got a concept of a plan. And motherfuckers was like, oh, God, yes, he has a plan. Like, I can't get out here on this garbage truck and be like, well, I got a concept of what to do. They'll be like, no, I might tear somebody's house up or tear a car up or some shit. You have to know what to do. So this man was ill prepared to run the United States government, and people allowed it. And even if he won, and regardless if you hold it, because I know Republicans is way more credibility, has more credibility than that guy we talking about. Michael Steele, Charlie Sykes. And when people like that say, hey, we not with dudes, like they've been never Trumpers in the Lincoln Project and stuff like that. So it had to be something where people in their own political party turned their back against them. They still Republicans, but they not MAGA Republicans. So I don't know if it was something to be like, well, if MAGA take over and they get to killing niggas, I'll be safe. You know what I'm saying? And this, that, another. So, you know, I'm gonna stay on the phone. I'm about to go to Chicago Sub and grab me an Italian beef dip with everything on it. So I'm gonna be on the phone with you guys. I'm gonna have y'all on mute, okay?
Yeah. That's fine. Go right. Get your Arab Italian sandwich and come back. But listen,
on a cousin sub. How does that make
he
that
said
a
Chicago sub. It's Chicago sub.
I'm thinking cousin sub.
Hey,
in my mind. I heard him say,
hey, it's a whole lot of,
there.
it's a lot of different stuff that go on, like other black people do that we disagree with, like that. A lot of other stuff.
Yeah,
that's harmful. Like,
yeah,
you know what I mean? All day long, I watch people eat shit that I know is harmful. Like, you know what I'm saying? People drink alcohol. It's harmful as a motherfucker. And you know what I mean? And I don't agree with it, but I don't let the shit bother me. So, you see what I'm saying? Because that's still. And it's the same thing with this political shit, man. We got to keep it the same way. Let's keep it a buck with that too. Like, you ain't got to fuck with them, but don't let them change how you feel. Like, you come around now, y'all both both of us on the phone, and now I got an attitude because I'm on the phone with him, and now I really just gave him power over me to change my emotion.
So it's very funny that you talk about me looking in the air and shit like that, because as a professional, when dealing with people, I have to engage in what's called active listening. And here's the art of communication involves listening as well as speaking. A lot of people think he's good at communication because he can speak, but you're really judged on how effective you are as a communicator based on how well you can actually listen.
Right.
So when I meet with someone to help them, I have to be non-biased. I have to be in the middle. And when they tell their story, a lot of times in my mind, I might be thinking, now, why the fuck would you do that? That's just dumb, right? But I can't say that to them. I can't say, well, see, the problem is your ass, right? I can't, yeah, motherfucker, you need to. No. You're actively listening so that you can have a two-way conversation with them and say, well, I heard you say this. I heard you say that. Let's focus on that. As opposed to being pissed because they said something that I don't agree with. And I say this all the time. I'm the type of individual that I appreciate it when you don't agree with me. Like, to me, that's one of the best interactions to have. I can't stand somebody who agree with everything I say, because I'll be like, this motherfucker full of shit. And then I'll just say some wild shit to see if they agree, right? Like, yeah, I think Mr. T was fucking Knight Rider. And they be like, hell yeah, I did too, Kev. I was like, see, I just made that shit up. That shit was dumb. You ain't even listening. You're not listening to me. I reject your deposit. Earl Henning said, we need to know that they are out here. Q Love said that should be dope when someone call and piss Kev off. I don't even get pissed with Orlando. I hope I don't sound pissed. I just have to stop Orlando when the bullshit get too deep. When it gets too deep, like we were talking last night, and I said the fact of the matter when it came to Brad Schimmel was that he supported the 1849 abortion ban. I didn't speak to the particulars of it or how dedicated he was to it. One of the points of him as a candidate was that he supported it. He tried to call in and kind of like, I don't even know what that was. I did like he went and don't know what he agrees that it should be a referendum, but what the fuck? And then I had to go and find deeper information that gives you his direct quote saying, I believe that's a valid law. I don't believe that the Constitution gives you the right to have an abortion. Therefore, because of my active listening, I know that you support this ban. So when it comes to shit like that, it's just like, well, I get further with articulating that to him than getting mad at him. Like, oh, motherfucker, you so stupid. Because believe me, if he ever called and I didn't want to hear what he had to say, I'd just hang up the phone. It's real. I really have that like, you know, I choose to get into these interactions with him. So I have to navigate them wisely. So it's no need. And anybody else who's, let's be honest, we've had people call here and say all kinds of crazy shit. I don't agree with none of them 100%. And it's never happened. I don't think nobody on this show has ever agreed with nothing I say 100%. But when you make a good point, you make a good point, right? And I expect then people say, okay, I hear you on that. Not, yeah, Kev, you the man, you know everything. Then I don't want to talk to you no more. So, that's why I welcome people of different, perspectives to call in and say, hey, this is how I feel, or put it in the chat room. But I don't get pissed. I've been pissed on the air one time in 12, 13 years of podcasting, and it was early because I got trolled on Blog Talk Radio by some white dudes. And what made me mad was they came in like they was cool. Like, yeah, hello? Is this Outlaw Radio? Like, yeah, man, you guys rock, man. We're listening to you. And then I heard them sniggling, and then it went into what you niggers don't realize. And I just lost it. I just went, psh.
Oh, so you back to your college, Kevin.
It took me back to Atkinson, Kevin.
Whoop they ass, huh, if you was close.
I went to talk about what I did to their grandmother and what my granddaddy was doing to their mama. And it just got so bad. I looked up, everybody was just standing by me. I had like 6, 7 people here. They was just standing by me like, Kev, you got to relax. I just lost it. And so I said, I'm never doing that shit again. My mouth got dry. My heart was beating. I was pissed. I was ready to go to war. I said, I will never let nobody. And then I've had people attempt to do it since then. I've had, but it just, maybe it's old age, but I'm a lot more calmer than I used to be. Or I should say a lot more calm. I don't know if calmer is a word. But yeah, you got to really, the only way you can really get under my skin today is to violate on a high level. Like you got to kick my door in or something, or be in my yard talking shit late at night. Shit. I'm like, gun line, boss. Then you'll see me piss, but you ain't gonna see me piss on no goddamn podcast. Never, ever, never. And I understand that there has to be people like Orlando, because there are black Republicans. Look at when he signed. What did he sign? What did he did something? At first they said it wasn't going to be Black History Month, and then he had a little thing at the White House, and all of the Sambos was there, and they was dancing and grooving, and I ain't seen none of them niggas since. Right? And so we thought that shit was funny. We really did. We thought it was funny, man. It wasn't no. It is what it is. There are black Republicans. There are black conservatives, and politics is just one part of who you are and where you are. Now, is this Orlando calling in now? Because I don't recognize this.
Orlando.
Oh, okay.
Don't call me no daggone Orlando.
Sean Moore.
My mama named me Sean. You gonna call me some damn Orlando? What the hell?
I thought it was Orlando.
What type of shit is that, man?
Hey man, we don't have nobody to screen the calls around here.
You need to hire somebody, because
man,
I almost snapped out.
Well, don't snap out. You get hung up on. Right. That's what I'm saying. See, I don't have to. See, here's the case, y'all. I don't have to be involved in this interaction if it don't behoove me. Right. I can hang up. Right. So what's going on, Sean? What's going on?
What's happening, man? What's the word?
Say that again, Courtney.
I was telling Sean I appreciate him filling in.
Oh, that's Courtney online?
Yeah, the guest host for me last week. I seen that. Thank you.
All right.
Well, I wasn't being no guest host.
You was being a guest host.
It is that.
Thank you.
Oh wow. She's the Milwaukee
I
Jets.
ain't being no guest host for your ass.
It's too late. You already did it. Too late.
Milwaukee Jets hilarious, right? She's like, thank you for sitting in my seat.
Jets not hilarious. She's just not hilarious.
What's going on, man?
I want to say something about last.
Hold on, Sean.
CPI election, bro.
Okay.
Right, because we know that there's problems within our school system, right? And people voted for once again. She's been in that position, and the kids in this state, man. Well, I ain't gonna say state. The kids in Milwaukee ain't learned shit in these schools. You know what I mean? They ranked low as hell. Yet, not because of what she can do, but we voted. Well, whoever voted for her, they voted for her because she's not a Republican. They didn't vote for her because they had these kids' best interests at heart. She's been fucking failing.
Okay.
Right?
Okay.
But they voted for her because she's not a Republican. Right?
Right. Which is a good reason. Let's be honest, that's a good reason not to vote for somebody right now. Like,
I understand that, but this ain't
we talking about education.
Okay.
Fuck the party, bro. But that's what we continue to do. We continue to, okay, you know, we gonna vote on party line, even though Republicans have fucked us over.
Right.
Democrats fucked us over, right?
That's true.
And we not voting interest. We voting party. We voting, oh, I don't like you. I don't like them, so I ain't gonna vote for them.
Sean, let me ask you a question right quick, though. If you voted for somebody who's supposedly progressive in terms of their educational policies, and it wasn't just because she's not a Republican, but the Republican initiative right now is to break our whole education system down. Like he's dismantled the Department of Public Instruction. That is their narrative. That's how they want to move. Like, and I would further this, I would extend this by saying, yeah, we can say she failed. And we could say MPS as a system is failing.
Mm-hmm.
But is the system failing us or are we failing it? Because when you have a 50% truancy rate in the city of Milwaukee, this is bigger than who's in the office. This is bigger than who makes the decisions, who dots the I's and crosses the T's. This is a community issue. This is a us issue. When we look at the fact that you're right in terms of the achievement gaps, in terms of standardized testing, and we talk about math scores and literacy and reading scores. Yeah, it's fucked up. It's bad. It's one-sided. It's lopsided, as Black people say. But if 50% of the children don't go to school, right, because even out of that 50% that goes, only 30% is going to pass.
Right.
You got to get the whole, at least 80 to get to 50. And by the way, white literacy rates are not that much higher than Black literacy rates. So when they spit that to you, you can fire back and say, y'all ain't that much better. And it's more of y'all.
Why I didn't bring no color into it, right?
It's more of y'all. Well, but when you say Milwaukee, we know we know who you're talking about, right? We know when you say.
So I'm talking about. So the point I was about to get at, right, is a lot of people voted not for what was best. A lot of people didn't even research either candidate, bro. They didn't research either candidate.
I think that's a generalization. You're talking about just in that race, not the whole Supreme Court judge thing. You're taling about just
no.
Okay.
I ain't talking about that.
Yeah, she was an add-on. You're right. She was an add-on. Yeah.
I'm talking about how we continue to just vote along party lines. We don't even research, bro. We don't care who's doing what, right? Sean,
I feel like you disrespecting everybody who voted last night. I think you saying to them,
I don't care.
Well, you should. I mean, people took their time to go to the polls. We asked that people vote first of all.
I understand that.
I was lying.
When we do vote, and then we pick somebody and say, "Oh, your ass didn't even know what you was voting for." It's like that's like a little hate. That's like a little residual hate, man.
People that voted for Trump, right?
Well, it's not the same people. They voted Democrat.
Hold on. I found out after they voted that a lot of people that I, thought I was cool with voted for Trump. Not based off their research, because it's man, he don't do this. It's cool, man.
He stands on business.
We gotta stop voting off of emotion.
Okay, so with this, what you're saying means if Trump is sitting with the Republicans, and I don't care if Mickey Mouse is with the Democrats, I shouldn't just vote for the Democrat. I should vote for. I mean, you see what I'm saying? Because so I get what you're saying because I'm nonpartisan. I'm with you. We are the party poopers. I think we OG. Come on, at this point, we got to say we OG party poopers because we've been saying a long time. We're neither Republican or Democrat. I lost opportunities to be on certain platforms, WNOV, because I said I'm nonpartisan, right? And they're like, "What you mean? You ain't gonna carry the water for the Democrats?" Nope. When they fuck up, they can get it too.
Right.
So, but when it makes sense, it makes sense. If the Republican Party is throwing its support behind Trump, I'm anti-Republican. I vote Yankee Doodle Doo before I vote for them, and I am gonna just vote. That's how I ended up with Biden, because it didn't matter who the fuck ran against Trump. I was like, we got to get this motherfucker up out of here. And that's why we brought Sleepy Joe in. So yeah, it's wrong to vote along party lines without researching your, who you're voting for. But I think most people had done their research. This was the most expensive judicial race in history.
If we stop voting
I'm not talking about the judicial, right?
It's the same ticket, though. It's the same ticket.
It was either catch and release, Crawford, or on your knees, Shimmer. You know what I mean? It ain't like motherfucker reading. I was really focused on a lot of these people that have taken a stance against, what's going on at MPS. I'm like, great, all right, man, that's what's happening. But then a lot of them turn around and they didn't look at. I really don't believe that a lot of us researched these women.
That's your belief. That's your belief, but that don't make it accurate. Now, Courtney, you look like you want to jump in. I want to make sure you get your point out. What was you trying to add?
I gotta listen to Courtney now.
We gotta listen to everybody.
I was gonna say, with the overall election, if we would stop making shit about money, we could have better people in office. If we was about who
Sean, you gotta turn your device down. I'm getting a horrible echo over there. Or is that Dion in the background? Somebody got to turn they Walkman down. You can't.
I'm muted. I'm muted.
I'm muted too. I just unmuted.
Well, somebody got some gas station headphones. I'm getting the echo.
It's me.
Go ahead, Courtney.
Down. I was saying with the elections and things, if we could vote for people based on who they were and not who had the most money, and give some real people chances, we probably could get somewhere in the goddamn world, But also, as Sean was saying, a good amount of people didn't do research, especially when you think of the older people. First off, a lot of people have their kids in different districts, like me. I didn't do any research because my kids go to school in Wauwatosa. So
yeah, but you still pay taxes. You still pay taxes in the city of Milwaukee, which means you paying for it anyways. So you should have something to say, right? So even if you ain't got a kid in school, it's like, but I pay taxes, and the property tax levy powers MPS. They have a $1.5 billion budget, right? Oh, my bad. Got a little excited.
So some people like me, I didn't do any research on people being superintendents, but also elder people. I remember my mom, I asked her, "What you gonna vote?" She's in her 60s. She was like, I don't know who to vote for, Courtney. I'm like, what do you mean? Well, the infomercial on TV said this, but then the other one said that. And I'm like, you ain't doing no research, but at the same time, niggas old, they can't see well. I'm like, you ain't listening to Black Talk Radio? I mean, a couple people was on there. So even older people, they just too old to really do the research. And they're just going based off the damn ads of what the ads are saying. So.
Yeah. Unfortunately, that's why they spend so much money on them. I want to go back to MPS for a second. Ruben Anderson is in the chat room. He said, that's crazy, because I was just thinking there needs to be an incentive program in MPS. They can't solve the problems in education. It will take educated men and women to volunteer their time. It's failing itself. First of all, there have been incentive programs in MPS. There was an honor system when I was working, where if they did certain things in certain schools, they had these merit systems. They had these incentive programs. Once again, I don't know who you blame if the kids ain't coming to school. I don't know who you blame in the community. I mean, in the building. If the kids ain't coming to school, how is it anybody in that building's fault?
Very true.
Like we talk about how much money, we talk about, what programs they got. The MPS need to do this. Yeah, but if the kids ain't coming to school, you cannot teach empty seats. And the kids that are coming to school, you have a large percent of them who are disruptive for whatever reason, whether it's special education, whether it's them having situations at home. So as a teacher, you are dealing with the lowest lowest rung on the totem pole. But I know there's some hardworking teachers in MPS, but like I said, a lot of y'all talk about MPS without going into the buildings. I think that's the problem. Because even when I taught school, people would tell me all kinds of wild shit. Man, your teachers don't do shit. They don't work for nobody. And I'm like, when the last time you walked to school? What have you been to your own child's school? What's your son's teacher name? I don't know. I don't know. Shit, it named something. So I think you got to know about it, right? Like, so before you criticize, and we have to be honest, like we talking about dogs biting our kids at Mayfair, but our kids are in Mayfair fighting. Now, they're both wrong. They both wrong. Right? They're both wrong. I did see a brother who is an expert on the canines when it comes to law enforcement, and he said that, you know, the handler was 100% to blame, like we said on the show the other night. If y'all, and I'm referring to this footage of this sister, young sister, getting bit by the dog at Mayfair, and they couldn't get the dog off her foot. The handler was trying his best. The dog was locked up. I'm on this shit. Like he was right. So, but was she fighting? Was she involved in the fight? Like, if she was, as her father, I gotta be like, why the fuck was you fighting in the mall?
Yeah.
Like, you know, then I get mad at the dog, but damn, you still didn't deserve to be bit, right? But come on, like, why are you? What you doing?
But then, you know, sometimes somebody be to ran up on you. You be in the mall enjoying your day, and then somebody, you know, it's a crowd around you now. Like, so hey,
well, I ain't got ran up on in the mall in a long time.
Right. So, you know, sometimes you like, Dad, I was just walking. Next thing I knew.
Yeah, but most of the time that's not true, because either you with somebody who owns some shit or you in some shit. Like, I've been a troublemaker, so I know we will lie and say we wasn't even doing nothing. You was on some shit.
I mean, I've definitely been a person that wasn't doing shit, and then a group of motherfuckers walk up and it be a bitch trying to fight, and it's like,
damn, just for no reason.
With you like that, and to be some with a boyfriend or a boo, and
see, then it ain't just. Then they didn't just run up.
Like, you
but
knew
they didn't just run up on you. Then if it's about a boyfriend or a boo, then you was in you.
If I didn't know you had back in high school, motherfuckers ain't say they had girlfriends. I don't know about you, but somehow you know who I am. Now you running up on me.
I'll tell you what. If y'all get into a fight at Mayfair, you probably gonna get bit in your ass by a dog, and then you just fighting over this dude, and you didn't got your ass bit. So
is she gonna sue? Are they gonna get some money, Kevin?
I don't know. I'm waiting to see how far this goes, because they tried to hide it initially, and it's out here because you can't. The internet is wild, man. You can't. Somebody got a phone out. I don't give a fuck what happened. Somebody got a phone out. You can look around 3-4 times and do the shit. This motherfucker got a phone. Who's this? Below BB in the chat room. He said, community education is a must. Education is a must. It is. Like, who would say something different? Education is and it ain't just about a liberal arts education. It's not just about, okay, I went to Marquette. Sometimes you just need to go to MATC and get a plumbing certificate. I think I lost both my callers. Sean, Sean, it dropped Sean too. I don't know if my phone did it. Y'all welcome to call back, and anybody who wants to call the show, please call back. The lines are open. But yeah, like my issue when we talk about anything in regards to MPS, yes, the whole debacle with the referendum and the waste of money and the mismanagement and just the whole like even the individual who was placed in charge of ridding MPS of lead pipes he done got in trouble. He done let his license, you know what I mean? His license done expired. Is it anybody in central office who knows what the fuck they're doing? Like, it's like, once again, shout out to the teachers, but goddamn, central office is. I used to say this years ago when I worked for MPS. I hated to go to central office just to even get my paycheck. It was and is a bureaucratic hole. I've gone there and got sent to 7, 8, 9 different offices, and none of them had what I was looking for. And they be, go down there. You go back now. He said, no, you gotta let me call him. Don't nobody know what the fuck is going on. Below BB, he said, like I said, focus regardless. Okay. I don't know. Let's elaborate on that, my brother or sister. Below BB, shout out to you. And anybody else who's tuning in for the first time, is Outlaw Radio Survival Instincts. We started off by discussing the fact that a lot of us are just in survival mode from day one, and it never stops, because it's really not about whether or not you're going to be in it. It's about how you survive it. So survival is ongoing, because even to this day, I still got to figure out how to survive, but it's about managing how I do it. So I figure out a way to survive without robbing somebody else or taking their shit or victimizing somebody else so that I can have sustenance. You just figure out ways to earn and barter and negotiate and all these kinds of things. So we started off with that, and then we went to shouting out the city. Finally, I'm shouting out the city common council for even entertaining the ideology of participatory budgeting, in which they're saying there's a movement to take this $2.4 million that we have left from the American Rescue money and saying let's ask the community what we should do with this money. So, but it's not passed yet. It just passed the Committee of Finance, and it's moving forward for it to be voted in. Then they're saying it's still going to take some time because there has to be a creation of an oversight committee. You know, what I call administrative costs. That's going to bite into that 2.4 million. Somebody got to answer the phone, right? This is how it goes. Jesse said, great advice, Kev. Appreciate you. Below BB said, mentality. Some have, some don't. That's very true. That's very true. And we understand that. There's nothing 100% true about no group of people, you know, and we know there's going to be some people who pick up what we putting down, and then there's going to be some people who be like, that's some bullshit. Like, as hard as you try to say, no, do the right thing, is somebody somewhere actively trying to figure out how to do the wrong thing. Yeah. Like, fuck that. I'm just going to wait for him to get it and rob his ass. That's the way our community is, right? Fuck all that. I ain't doing all that. I'm just going to wait for Kamar to buy his car. Then I'm going to steal his, right? Now it's our car, right? You know what I mean? He said, this is Jesse. He said, we have participatory budgeting in Denver. It's a good idea. I wish we had that in light of this $200 million tax revenue that we've allowed to be reallocated back to the city. I wish we had an oversight committee for that. I wish they said something about participatory budgeting with that. You know, but I think some of the things that they said some of this money should be allocated to is good. I mean, you know, homelessness and violence prevention. Milwaukee's and shit down their leg with violence prevention. And shout out to the people who work for these groups. But right now they keep saying, hey, crime is down. But this city is hilariously dangerous. What was it? A 6-year-old murdered this morning? We've had some egregious murders in early 2025 already. I believe we're 2 ahead of where we were last year, but they keep saying, hey, but crime is down. Homicide ain't what it was last year. It wasn't last year. It was lower, but they don't tell you that it was still hyperactive as opposed to what it was pre-pandemic. So you just saying we ain't as crazy. We crazy, but we ain't as crazy as we was last year, y'all. Congratulations. Right? Still fucked up, but hey, man, we ain't as fucked up, right? Like, I don't know, man. I don't know. It's weird to me. It's weird to me. And once again, it gets worse and worse and worse. Is it true that somebody has gotten killed every day of this year so far? No, that couldn't be true because we what was it, for a month? Every 1 month.
Maybe shot. I could see maybe shot, not dead, but I could see maybe shot.
Okay, so I know Mama Jenkins, she kicked that the other night saying, I think we went a month where somebody got shot every day, Courtney. I think maybe that's what it was. Y'all straightened me out on it. But it's a crazy statistic in that turn on the news, car done flipped over here, crashed into a house. People more and more got footage of, hey man, there's a high-speed chase. They almost hit me and shit. Like it's stupid and it ain't safe. If nothing else, we should be safe in this city. Because God knows we spent $200 million we just generated in a year. Plus most of our annual budget goes to fire and safety in the first place. So how we ain't safe? How are we not safe? It's pretty crazy. Kamar, you got I'm finna say something face on. You jumping in or what?
Well, I mean, I'm tripping off the 200 thing too, man. It's the demonstration right there, man. Like, yeah, I just don't understand. Like, that was a cold thing, man. Like, they devised a plan for us to pay them the rest of their lives, pretty much.
And did.
City employees. And you think about once again, I want to We talk about numbers, right? $200 million was generated via this tax increase. They only projected $180 million. Hey, how y'all doing? How y'all doing? How y'all doing?
Hey.
They had pre-allocated 90% of this money. Didn't even tell us. What's 90% of $200 million? That's how much they just gave to the pension fund. To me, we're not making enough noise about it. It's just, I said I'm gonna say it every time I do a show for the rest of my life. I don't know how long I'm gonna live, but I'm gonna keep going until it's over. Because I'm like this shit. Like when I meet strangers and say it to them, like, "How you doing? What's your name?" My name Bill. Bill, you know, they gave 90% of the $200
I just need somebody to talk to. I just need somebody to talk to about this shit.
Man, I call your house. They say you got the wrong number. I say, but before you hang up, listen. Do you know 90% of that $200 million? Stop calling my phone. I'm gonna text you. Now I see Team Teal in the background. I see the Call to Action podcast squad in the background. Kamar, they got you with the teal on. That make me think something is coming. Y'all got some event coming. What's popping? Let's talk about it.
It actually is, but I'm gonna let them talk about it.
There you go.
First of all, shout out to Outlaws. Hey, you guys doing? Hey, Courtney. Hey, Kevin. Well, you know, April is Sexual Assault Awareness Month, Kevin, and you know that's our month with Team Teal 365. And today is actually our 12th annual Paint the City Teal Day. Woo! Shout out to House of Vitality for being one of our sponsors for like the 5th year. I think like the 5th year House of Vitality has sponsored Paint the City Teal Day. So everybody was loving the teas as per usual. But yeah, you know, Sexual Awareness Month every April. Filled out the whole downtown Milwaukee. So Tycee and I just came from down there at the Home Bridge, doing a whole caravan of all the downtown landmarks for the sexual assault survivors and the thrivers in the city of Milwaukee and beyond. You know, we had people travel down here from Madison and all other places, but it's all about bringing solidarity for sexual assault survivors. So we are very grateful to bring awareness to the color teal, which is the color for Sexual Assault Awareness Month. And once again, shout out to Outlaws. You know, we've been frequent collaborators. You guys have brung us on. Shout out to Kamar and Tycee being that example of those healthy relationships that we talk about so much with Team Teal 365. So thank you, Kevin. And thank you for the work that you continue to do it. Much respect. That's hard.
No, shout out to y'all and shout out to all the victims, man. It's one of those things. It's one of those undercurrents in our community where we know people get victimized, right? And a lot of people don't say nothing about it. And so it can lead to some dire circumstances in terms of mental health and whatnot. So the work that you all do is warranted. It's appreciated. I'm not the most sensitive dude, but I am sensitive to victims because God forbid somebody did something to my baby girl. I'm going to the mattresses.
Let's call them survivors, Kev. Call them survivors.
Survivors. There we go. There you go.
And Kevin, we appreciate your openness to always being able to shift. Right? Because you have such a powerful platform, not just with what you do, but the people that listen to you. So thank you for all being open to the conversation and pushing it into the atmosphere. And you already know, Courtney, it's already respect in the work that you're doing in the community with the survivors and the thrivers. So we thank you guys. And Kamar, he's always 10 toes down. Like I said, you know, House of Vitality, the image that they bring as a couple. You know, I know they don't talk about it all the time, but they are definitely a healthy relationship that needs to be seen in the community on a regular basis. And shout out to Tycee for all the dope work she does with Team Teal too. And y'all should check us out on Team Teal, all the outlets. Tycee and Crystal Ship will be doing an amazing presentation at the end of this month. And we have over 3 or 4 different panels. So we have like 5 different things going on throughout the month of Sam. So tap into us at Team Teal 365 and all outlets. So shout out to Crystal Ship because she's also one of the thrivers of the year this year with Team Teal 365. So we're really stoked about that. And you guys know Crystal Control Plus C. She's a part of Team 2. And this year we're going to be honoring her. So yeah. Big ups to all the survivors and all the thrivers and all the allies and just giving us this space, right, Tycee? Yeah, for sure.
So y'all got now. You all have some events coming up this weekend, or what is this? This a whole? What's
Well, it's the whole month. Well, today is Paint the City Teal Day. That's a proclaimed day. You know, I got that from the mayor over 5 years ago. So Paint the City Teal Day will forever be on April 2nd. But we have a whole calendar of events for the month of Sam for this entire month. So today, but we have 2 panels. We have an event. We have an event over at Safe and Sound. So check us out on Team 5. All of our events are on the pages and on Tyce's page and on my personal page as well.
There we go. Shout out to y'all.
Yeah, we've been grinding hard.
Right. Keep putting in the work, right? Keep putting in the work. Yeah, like I said, I'd shout out to anybody. I've had to come a long way with my sensitivities.
That part, and we respect it, and we thank you so much, Kevin, because a lot of your listeners are inspired and empowered by you. He is. Shout out to y'all. Shout out to
I mean, don't call me. I still don't want no brothers calling me talking about their girl beat them up. But I mean,
no, you can call us. Just call us.
Right, call them. Instead of laughing, I will say, well, you need to call Tyce now. Like, come on, what's Tyce number?
That's right, Kevin.
I'm like, come on, I got this brother, man. He just got beat up by his girl. He need to talk to somebody. Back in the day, I'd be like, you whooped your ass over there. So yeah, no. Shout out to you.
We thank you, man. Seriously, we respect it. We need more of Kevin Kamars and Courtney's in the world. So thank you, Outlaw.
Yeah, and tell these people when you talk to them, did they know 90% of that $200 million?
I'm gonna call you so you can tell it. Because you can say it better than me.
Yeah, see? That's how it works. Say, somebody's
gonna tell you something. Hold on one
second.
That part, Courtney. Hold that call. Let me call.
Man, no, man, that's ridiculous, man. I can't get over it.
Work, man. Let us know any way that we can collaborate, work together. So make sure you check us out on Team Till 365. Tyce Gassi, Samantha Collier, Courtney, Kamar, Kevin. We out.
Yeah, man. Peace and love, man. Y'all be good. Be safe. Stay dangerous, right? Is that what
Stay dangerous? And you know,
I'm dangerous because I drive away fast now. I be gone. It was like, he dangerous, right? I drive off on your ass. But no, I mean, like I said, man, that there's when it comes to what happens in the city, a lot of people aren't aware of all the different movements, and so. Like my brother Sean said, they are uninformed about a lot of things. And let's be honest, people are on social media for the sensational shit. Like they're not social media. People like, I don't want to be learning shit when I'm on social media. Like I'm on Facebook trying to find some crazy. So if you come across a whole conversation with us talking about voter rights and shit like that, they'd be like, man, I don't do be on some bullshit. Talk about Gucci Mane and them. Do people still talk about Gucci Mane? I don't know. I'm so out of the loop, man. I'm so out of the loop. Okay, she said
talk about all the shit that be on social media, all the stuff you see on social media. Just hilarious. Yeah. The Breakfast Club, whatever is trending is what people are talking.
And we get on that sometimes. Yeah. Below BB. Oh no, this is Jesse. He said we have participatory budgeting in Denver as well.
That word good, Kev. Sometimes you be messing up. You did that well, all right.
Okay. I do what I do, right? I mean, sometimes I'm good, sometimes I ain't, right? Everybody have an off night. Below BB said, do have that type of mentality. He said, train that type of mentality. Jesse said they say that in my city too, and murder rampant in my area of town. Catching up with my chat room. Below BB says you have to explain village. He said just came from a go bond meeting in my city and district. Y'all have go bonds in Milwaukee? Do we? I don't know.
No, not that I know.
I ain't never heard of it here.
We don't have bail bondsmen here. You talking about bail bonds, right?
Bail bondsmen for sure. No.
Okay.
No.
He said village, you have to explain that type of mentality and family. The problem with the village concept now is that it's really not a village anymore. It's just a collection of tents. And I don't know if I necessarily want some of the people in the village fucking with mine.
Yeah, but I was gonna say people don't want a village. People don't want nobody talking to their kids, touching their kids. No, I don't want you talking to them. So it's
But honestly, I've said this many a times. The number one way you survive in Milwaukee is minding your motherfucking business. That is how you survive in this city. Like you might see or you might know, but you ain't telling. Unless, you know, a lot of times we wait until it involves us personally to say, now, okay, now I got to go down to the police station. But man, I done drove past plenty shit. I done seen plenty shit. And I said, shit, it ain't my business. And so when we talk about that village concept, it would require sometimes minding someone else's business. Like, hey, man, I seen your kid at the corner store and I got at him. Now the little boy then went home and said, oh, he grabbed my arm and the daddy got his pistol in front of the house. I'm like, nigga, you touch my son? Like, I got to shoot him or he gonna shoot me. It's one of the two. The village, you know, it'd be nice to live in a neighborhood where we was all on the same page in that regard. Jesse said the majority of their budget in Denver goes to fire and safety. Yeah, it goes here too. Shout out to the fire department, police station. It's just y'all ain't never there, right? Like, and I'm not, look, I know they do a lot, so it's a thin line. I don't want to go too far. He said Kamar's children. Hey, Kamar's children. Oh my God.
Oh man. How old you think I am, Jesse?
Them herbs got too old as a motherfucker. Them herbs got come out.
I'm just OG. I ain't triple OG.
See, I left Tennessee in the 50s and came up here. See, and started this sumo business. That nigga Kamar is an old Southerner.
Nah, them was two grown women, family. Them was two grown women.
Two grown women, right? Yeah, man. Below BB says, so family listen to you, but not. He says, so family might listen to you, but not to me. Courtney, fix it. If I'm off, let me know. I don't know.
Hold on, I'm trying to get. You changed it too quick. When the control.
Oh, look at it now. He says, so family might listen to you, but not.
So family may listen to you, but not for me. Family may listen to you, but not for me. And yeah.
But it says my. It doesn't say may, because I want people
to say may. That's what makes sense.
Okay, you're paraphrasing.
Yeah, you got to, Kev, sometimes.
Below, he said control, master of control. I mean, when people speak sentences in posts like that, I'm always lost. When they be like, I am somebody all the time, and it'd be like three different. I'm like, okay, like, okay. You know. Let me see who we got here. I think this D. I know Jesse. He said happy Teal Day. Team Teal.
365.
He said B. I need you to work. Good job. Okay. Family. I need you to protect me too. I'm reading them slow. Family. I need all I got. And I'm just people be on my ass about these comments.
Go ahead, Kev.
He said, victim, there will be victim. Is it worth gonna against me? Sorry.
You got to let you read. I ain't got, nope, go ahead.
I need you, family. You don't understand.
So we need each other. This sounds like some of that Kanye shit, because this is what Kanye be on. Sound like this one. We need each other.
My train immediately. I'm just reading what's in the chat room, y'all. Read the time Ron Burgundy. I'm just reading the teleprompter. To do such right now, immediately. No, I'm just reading the chat room. Said fall back immediately.
So we doing such or we falling back? Which one?
2x my code. Right? 2x my code. Stay black and dangerous, y'all.
All right, so we get that one.
That was Jesse. Below BB back, he said, don't test my family. They posted too. Okay. Cut him loose right now, he said. Or she said. I'll cast out. Understand right now, cut him loose.
It doesn't feel like read the story.
Right. Maybe he's talking to somebody in the background, but he think, I don't know. He's texting me what he's saying.
Right now, cut him loose.
Right. Cut him loose. Jesse Pierce said not bail bonds. City funds voted. Oh, okay. We heard bonds. We were thinking
right. We like
bonds.
Yeah.
City funds voted on to go to building up the city, district, and neighborhood, basically for voters to decide what. Yeah, that's participatory budgeting. And what they're saying is, some people are calling this, like I heard some aldermen saying, this is like a love letter to the city. This is a declaration of how much they love the citizens and the residents of Milwaukee. First of all, I would hope so, because we pay your newly increased salary if you're an alderman of probably about $90,000 a year and a very large line of credit. So you should show some appreciation about time. He said, Wisconsin, I represent. So this person's from Wisconsin. Did you go to MPS? Because I don't know. It seemed like you went to MPS. I was fucked up. Jesse said, sorry, Kamar, my bad. Because he's apologizing. Yeah, he said Kamar Daughters was on the show. Shout out to the witch doctor's babies, right? I'm pretty sure when you tell them that, they're gonna be like, what? He said, I have to calm them down. Now I'm paraphrasing. Dion said, man, what the fuck happened? I don't know. I mean, you have to call back. I don't know. It's what Kamar, what we just talked about this. When some crash on the show, like the phone ain't working or the signal ain't clear, you say, man, I don't know what that shit was. Because you truly don't. You just got to reset it or try it again. I'm no computer engineer. I said they can hear from you, but not me. Okay. Work. Dow. So all my family work with no diploma. Regardless, they still work. Okay. Yeah, I mean, education ain't. See, first of all, people gotta understand when you say education, like to get a degree guarantees you nothing. Like I should be able to do a symposium to young people when they graduate from college, right? Because I can tell you, unless it's a certain major, and even sometimes when it's that, like, okay, if you're pre-med and you stay on that track, then you eventually are working to become a doctor. If you go for law and you stay on that track, you eventually try to become an attorney. But sometimes you get a degree and you think, okay, everything finna fall in place and your ass will be working in Walmart. It guarantees you nothing. It is just an accomplishment that you make and try to acquire a certain amount of knowledge. A lot of times people don't even work. People who get college degrees don't work in their field that they studied, but they end up with a job somewhere and they get on a career path. But I wish everybody who I went to school with is not working in what they studied, right? Like, and so education that's why I said it's not just based on liberal arts, bachelor's degrees and master's degrees, which are great to have. But I mean, to get a vocational certification, to become a certified welder or plumber or carpenter or HVAC or CNC machinist, you're going to work. That's education too. You know what I'm saying? And you got to work your degree. You get a degree, it's not going to work itself. You got to work it. You have to make it happen because more often than not, when you get a degree, unless you're grandfathered in somewhere, what they're going to tell you is, okay, you have the education, but you don't have the experience. And so you end up, remember, I just got my master's. Yeah, but you ain't worked nowhere. You've been in school. So you got to pay your dues, right? Everybody wants.
I remember when I was working a job, right, at that pallet company, truck drivers used to come. So I inquired about that one time, right?
Okay.
And they were saying like, yeah, well, you got to go to school to do it. So I'm like, okay, well, if I go to school to do it, I could hop in one of these trucks there. Now they was like, you still need a year experience. I'm goddamn. Like, man.
Yeah. There's a thing I learned when my senior year in undergrad. I learned, hey, congratulations, you just completed your coursework, you passed all your finals, but you need an internship. I said, what the fuck? I'm at home waiting on my degree to come. They sent me a letter talking about, oh no, you ain't got your degree yet. You didn't do no internship. Damn. I said, you bullshit. I did like the mayor. I said, y'all bullshit. So I had to go do my internship. I went to Fox 6 and did my internship. You know what I'm saying? And so but you have to complete the process. But it is a great foundation to lay for yourself in terms of, especially if you're passionate. But I think more often than not, education now is more of an investment into yourself because the costs are high. So you might have to borrow money or you might have to, you don't know, but it's an investment in you saying, hey, I'm gonna stay the course and make sure that this pays off for me. But don't expect it to just snap for you. I remember when I got a master's degree, I thought every time I sent a job application in, I was going to get hired. I think I got dissed more once I got the master's degree than I did when I got the bachelor's. I was like, damn, I can't get it was like, nah, we don't care till I learn how to work it, till I learn how to leverage it. You know what I'm saying? And at this point now it's beneficial for me because I learned how to work it. I learned how to put it in places where they say, that's impressive, Mr. Barnes. We'll give you an interview. right? So, but it took swinging and missing for a minute, man. Jesse Perry said, I have a bachelor's degree in criminal justice and criminology with a minor in FBA studies and ended up being a mover for 5 years. Woo! Now that's some shit right there. That was some shit. I personally, I had a summer, I had a season where I was working in a cell phone store in Northridge, not North Division, but Northridge. And that lasted me about 7 months. I really got on my feet, was able to pay my rent, was able to live, but I knew long-term this wasn't it. I got hired. The first real job I had that required a degree was teaching school as a substitute for MPS, probably about a year after I got out of school. Then I made money. What I thought was money, right? I didn't have no kids. I make $19 an hour. I'm rich. Mama, you ain't never got to work no more. She like, fool, I don't work anyways. I get disability. I was like, oh shit. But that was my first. I said, okay, this is now, let me get on this track and figure this out. So yeah, man, you got either way it go, you're gonna have to put in work. Nothing from nothing, leave nothing. Got to have something if you want to be with me. I like to because it's already almost 9:30. So I want to make sure we get this because I'm paying attention to SDC and the plight that SDC is going through. And we found out now that their buildings, first of all, they were shut down. Then they tried to reopen. I seen my brother Walter Lanier on the board of directors. He's saying, hey, we're moving towards getting this thing back popping. Now we're finding out that their actual buildings are in threat of being foreclosed down on North Avenue. And then they are having problems with the state board because they've lost funding because they've lost their designation as a community. What do they call it? A community? I can't remember what it was, but they've lost their status in terms of social service agencies. So SDC don't look like it's gonna survive. I don't know if y'all know about SDC. At one point, it's called the Social Development Commission. It is an organization that's been here active in Milwaukee since the 60s. It's supposed to be an anti-poverty agency. And they had at one point all these beneficial programs like energy assistance and daycare. They were big with the daycare and insulation and weatherizing homes for elderly people and poor people.
They was paying rent for a while. They was paying a lot of rent.
Well, they were initially over there on what's the street? Over there on East Capitol. I can't remember what it was. What's the name of that street? They had that building over there for a long time. And then they moved downtown, down on North Avenue, not downtown, but down on North Avenue, and got the old J.L. Marcus buildings, and it seemed like they was thriving. And then you found out that there was millions of dollars misallocated, and they were shut down. So, and the lack, and I work in social services still. So when I'm looking forward to make a service referral for someone in terms of utilizing a community resource, SDC, their absence has left a hole. Because you say, hey, man, you used to be able to call SDC and now it ain't there. So, but it gives other places like the Urban League and I
mean, it's still community advocates. They were about the same thing, kind of.
Yeah, and community advocates has intercepted a lot of their contracts too, right? That's how it goes in social service. Like I was with St. Charles when St. Charles had probably 80% of the wraparound Milwaukee contracts. We was balling. Now WCS has a majority of the ones that still exist. WCS has them, and St. Charles has kind of fallen back into a whole different, I don't even know what they're doing now. I don't, but we was on Watertown Plank Road. We was on 84th Street. We was on 76th Street. We had all those wraparound contracts. We was the joint. We had the shelters out there straight from DT when somebody it'd be dudes who be involved in a crime that's on the news, and we go get them from DT. And bring him back down to the shelter, and he'd be in there. He'd be like a celebrity. He'd be like, dude who ran over the people in the truck on the shelter. It's like, let's go interview him. So, but now I don't know what the fuck they doing. They selling furniture now. Like, what's what?
Yeah,
happened?
It's I'm there. So it's those Owen places, resource centers, and my manager. He'd be so worried. Like, what are we supposed to be doing? Nobody's really coming in here, and it's like, folks, just chill, nigga. If they shut this shit down, just ride the wave until they shut it down. But right now, we doing what they asking. Calm down.
Yeah, but I remember I ran a CLC and it's all good. Like you riding the wave, but when them numbers, because the funders are going to come check the numbers.
Yeah.
And when they say that's a wrap for this motherfucker. It ain't no.
But I mean, they just had to find open for the longest, and it's not a rec center, it's a resource center, and it's not that many people 16 through 24 really looking for resources like that. Like, they might come in and use a computer, play some games, but like really look for resources and shit. No, them numbers don't be too high. So I think they really just focused on the kids that are there at St. Charles 84th. They have a couple case managers that go out and deal with some youth. They have a couple of different programs like that, more so where you're going out to their homes and stuff, but they've gone like that path. So
yeah, we was all up in the mix back in the days. We was on everything. St. Charles, man, St. Charles. It's like, okay. But SDC, that whole thing, that where one program leaves, because I remember, what was it on the South Side? So, Casa, what was it called? I can't remember what it's called. Casa something. And they had all of the contracts and they lost them. So it's always a social service agency. It's like, well, we'll take it. I believe they go somewhere and bid on these. They do, because they submit what they call them, RFPs, request for proposal. Yeah. So he said, now this is below BB again. He said, if you earn it, it's honorable, and fall back. It's a setup. Fall back. He said he earns his, or she. I don't know if it says below BB. So it's a brother in the picture. So I'm assuming it's a brother.
I mean, I like Ice Cube, actually.
He said, B, keep a close eye on him just cuz. Put him under surveillance. Right now. Put him under surveillance. Yeah.
See? Told you. Right now.
Yeah, do something, right? I don't know. Below BB, one of the people who might have to call in, because my eyes get bad. Somebody, I feel like there's some people that need to be stopped. Like, can somebody stop Kanye?
Nah, man. Like, I was just telling somebody today, Kanye, I seen him in the outfit, but it's one of them things you gotta listen to Kanye. You gotta close your eyes and listen. Don't look at him. Listen to him. Don't look at him, Kev.
I tried to listen to him, and it just sounded like somebody ranting. He's talking about Jim Jones, and Jim Jones took $2 million from me, and like crypto coin, and I'm like, should I care about any of this? I feel like you don't have anything valid to say, and you're making this spectacle of yourself for attention, I guess. I don't know.
I ain't hear that part. I only listened to a little bit. Or it could have been numerous interviews in the Klan's outfit. I don't know.
It's him, first of all, him with DJ Academics, who just a couple months ago was exposed for talking to a 13-year-old.
Yeah.
About having sex with other men. Like, why is he still around? Why is he still relevant?
Because people don't care about shit nowadays. People ain't.
Yeah, just,
Hey, Kev, remember the other day I told you, I said, man, with social media now, you can't cancel a motherfucker. You know what I'm saying? Because, like, all you got to do is, like, last year when they was fucking with him, I don't know what year it was, but whatever, and they was talking about he was canceled, Adidas was dropping him and all that shit, but he was still right in their motherfucker face consistently, staying relevant. Like Academics, I'm sure he got some core fans that's still following him. You know what I'm saying? That's probably been following him for years. So if he keep putting up content, they gonna keep watching it, and it's gonna keep coming out. Charleston White, you know what I'm saying? Like, it's still some people that want to see that shit. So you know what I mean? He gonna stay in the motherfucker face somehow.
Yeah,
you can't really cancel a motherfucker with social media no more. As long as there's some people out there that still want to hear what they got to say.
Yeah.
So,
and it's fucked up.
I refer to individuals like a Whack 100, a Adam 22, a DJ Vlad, and the crazy part, the irony of this is they all came together and announced that they were the kings of media.
Oh.
Right. And so, and I'm like, how Academics is there? Vlad is there? Adam 22 is there? Like, it's
who's Adam 22? Does that have to do with be arguing with the women?
No, Adam 22, he's hard to describe. If you ever heard of the No Jumper podcast on YouTube, it's one of the largest platforms. Now, this is a white dude who, in my opinion, is a weirdo who's married to a porn star who has allowed other men to come in and have sex with his wife and just his whole porn lifestyle. But the reality of it is he appeals to what I would call the lowest common denominator, meaning you're going to interview gang members, drug dealers, assault, robberies, extortionists. This is what you focus on. These are the people who you bring in. Now, with the whole Big U thing and the indictment of the Rolling 60s Crips, and like these dudes have taken Crips and Bloods and West Coast gangbanging and put it in a box and sat it on your table and said, here, eat some of this. No Diddy. And I just feel like these are people who we should, like, I say get rid of. And I guess, Kamar, you said you can't really cancel anybody. I think you can by just not listening or like checking for their platform.
But that's the thing. You know what I mean? Like, it's going to be people checking for them still. Like, you don't have to. You know what I'm saying? But they're going to still be out here in the algorithms and shit. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. And I see Vlad is.
But hey, Kev. But I stand more firm on. Like, maybe that's the wrong word I want to use, but I really believe that it's the accountability fall on them niggas, the gangbangers.
Right. No doubt.
You know what I'm saying? Because see, if you out here making content and you cool with making that kind of content, it's people that want to know about their shit. They want to hear these stories. You know what I'm saying? So if you cool with it, shit, why wouldn't I bring them on my platform?
Yeah, but okay. So the issue with that is a lot of people don't know about some of this stuff until it's on the platform. So
right. That's what I'm saying.
You brought this to them. So now, I mean, I get that. I can see how you say that, but I mean, I think the blame goes two ways. It's the person who's doing it and the person who's exploiting the person who's doing it. So once again, we talk about survival instinct. So some of these dudes are really living that life, and they're like, I don't got shit, but I fuck with this dude. He give me a couple thousands of dollars, and now I got notary, and I'm famous, and I can get paid to do interviews. And you think, well, this gives me a way out, but you learn in the end that number one, he made more money than you did, and you end up going to jail. So ultimately, he is an exploiter. Like, you can blame the hoe for being a prostitute.
He is. I ain't saying you wrong.
Take some blame too.
He is an exploiter. I ain't saying that. He's all that. You know what I mean? All the names you want to call him. But I'm just saying, like, as far as their lives that they put on at stake, like, all that shit's on them. They could have definitely said they could have been held strong in their morals and they code. No, we can't come on there. You know what I'm saying?
So
that was on them.
So it's like that option of, okay, what's in each hand, right? Oh, a couple thousands of dollars, and then maybe the potential that I could grow on this and make money, or nothing. And that survival instinct says, shit, I'd rather see you go on YouTube and do something than to go out here and shoot one of these dudes. Because in your mind, you thinking, I'm not trying to go to jail, but you end up going to jail because you end up incriminating yourself in the first place.
That's what I was finna say. That's when, like, they street code survival instincts was supposed to set in. Like, nigga, you fuck around and get killed or go to jail. One of them gonna happen over this shit.
Right.
Somebody's gonna get upset from hearing their name, or like what just happened gonna happen.
A lot of stuff has happened. It's like we had the discussion about a Charleston White or somebody like that, and you realize at a certain point the name of this game is to generate all the publicity that you can. So if you really want people to pay attention to you as a content creator, shock value is very important. If you can piss people off to the point where they're polarized or where they support you because that's how they feel, you'll win. Mm-hmm. Right? Once again, I think everything is not necessarily about what you do, it's how you do it. So I think everything should have limits and everything should have parameters.
You know, like, I wish it was more people who knew, like, if they held strong to their positive shit, you know what I mean? Like, people gonna gravitate to that too. It's just easier to you know what I mean, to put the bullshit out there.
It is, and it's what they call low hanging fruit, I guess.
Mm-hmm, exactly.
It is. I don't know how you describe it. It's one of those things where you say, hey, I need to get on and I need to get on fast, right? Like that's why most drug dealers will give you your first few hits for free, right? Once they get you on, then I got you, right? So
you know what I'm
I just
saying?
think intellectually, and I speak from an intellectual perspective, I think there's just certain like I feel like we allow foolishness in, and then we wonder why it's foolishness all around us.
Right.
Well, you allowed this. You are, and we talk about being a cheerleader for foolishness, right? This is, and we all, some of us like ratchet shit. It's right. And so you got to be careful. That's why I say you have to be careful about what you ingest. It does matter. Like if you, because you, and a lot of this shit is misdirection and misinformation, and who knows who's behind these messages, and who knows who's pushing. That algorithm is tricky. When everybody acts like they understand it, nobody really understands how this shit flows. You know, the money is one way to trace it, to say, hey man, you know, I'm making money, I'm in the algorithm. But there's somebody somewhere, some organization that's pulling these strings, so certain messages can get through and be heard, and certain ones are pushed to the back. As a matter of fact, you heard Zuckerberg talking about they were changing the policy for Meta because he realized, because at one point you was getting flags, they was really limiting people who were against certain things, and it was biased. It was preventing free speech. And people give Twitter all this credit now for saying, Twitter, you can get on there and say whatever. And it's porn, everything on Twitter right now. But I feel like when you give people too much, they overeat. And you know what overeating brings, right? Like they end up sick, end up swole and disgusted because they full of the wrong shit. So I see somebody like Vlad and Academics and Whack 100, and they talk about king of media. And I'm like, no, even the culture, hip hop. No, they're not even. Oh, man, what's the best way to describe them? It's like they are probably the crack house of media, right? It's where you go and get a fix. And
Are they talking about views?
I think it's influence along with views. I think it's. But I think mostly it's influence, and it's
Vlad don't really influence shit. He just ask questions, like.
Well, but in terms of the internet, he does have.
That's
I mean,
I'm wondering what they judging it on. That's all. I'm just wondering what they judging it on.
In terms of YouTube and how this shit is done, Vlad has a big influence because his platform is so big. There are a lot of people who copy his format. There are a lot of people. See, there's people on YouTube who make money off sharing other people's content. Mm-hmm. You see what I'm saying? Like, so it's some dudes who Vlad will be in business with to say, okay, you can use my content, and if you make so much money, you got to pay me to use it. If you don't, then I'll flag your shit and you'll get a strike against you.
Right.
So it's a lot of secondhand hustling with that as well. But so in terms of influence, people are looking at Vlad to say, okay, he's talking to some of the people like Ari Spears or D.L. Hewley, or because a lot of brothers and sisters say, I'm not going to do Vlad. Now I see Club Shay Shay is becoming the same thing because he's becoming more and more gossipy. And
yeah, he used to be live, you know what I mean? Right. It was prestigious, you know what I'm saying? They get there, they get they get a shot of his yak, you know what I mean? And they sit there like men and have a conversation.
Yeah, because now I see him with like Amber Rose and people like that. And he, so what? That's what happened to you? It's like, bruh, what's the deal? Like you're looking super feminine right now. Like to me, messy dudes, like dudes who are like that, that's feminine to me. What, girl? Tell me about it. Like what Deion say that? What's the T on that? Men don't say that shit. We don't talk like that. We don't cross, even if we're gossiping in a hood way. Kamar, like,
because when you say that, you really say, dog, tell me the gossip.
Well, yeah.
Tell me the gossip. That's the same shit.
So when you sit down with a brother, even if we're gonna talk about something in the hood, you like, dog, so what's happening with so and so? And I'll be like, oh man, let me tell you about these cats. And we communicate, but you don't sit back and cross your legs and be like, Kevin, come on now. Kevin, what happened? It's like, dude, chill, man. I'm gonna tell you, like, I just feel like there's a masculine way this is done. And when I detect femininity, I start saying, wait, that's a little, you got on tight pants and shit. And it's just a little diddyish for me. Jesse Parrish called them the king of feds. BB below, he said stay in the box. Jesse said Agent 22, Agent 100, Agent Vlad. He said got LA Crippin looking down bad. Got LA Crippin looking down bad. Well, he got them all indicted. Well, at least the 60s, and they coming for everybody else who ever put their mouth on this YouTube and start talking about how they crippin' or blood, and they coming for your ass. I don't know if people know the feds have a thing called conspiracy. Maybe you need to look that up. Said salute, cut him loose. He said lifetime when I talk. This is crazy tonight. Below BB said ain't nothing going to happen to I. Mariah Johnson, how you doing, cuzzo? She said, hey, family, hey. How you doing? He said, I'll fly down on a bird eye view. This is below BB, y'all. Never represent Wisconsin without I. I don't know with this brother. I don't know what's up with this brother. I don't care what Wisconsin does. Never represent Wisconsin without I. United. Hold up, it's pretty lady. Love I. Okay. So, now you got your event coming up this weekend, Kamar. Let's talk about what all you're going to have cracking, what time it starts, and all this kind of thing. What's going on Saturday? You muted, bro.
Yeah, we got Doyle Spruer coming to the Sherman Phoenix from 12 to 2. Doyle Spruer is the pardon and expungement guru. Been helping brothers we've been hanging out for a year now. You know what I'm saying? And he's been helping brothers. He'll be up there Saturday. We also got Just Veggies from Madison coming back down to Milwaukee. He did had such a good time down here last month when he came. He asked if he could come back. So I told him to come back this Saturday. So pull up, family. Pull the fuck up.
And what time?
12. Well, the whole thing is going from 12 to 5, but the Doyle's only going to be there from 12 to 2. So Make sure you get there early.
And so this is Wellness Our Way, right?
Yeah.
And what else you gonna have?
Well, it ain't really Wellness Our Way no more. You know what I'm saying? It's just on that day. You know what I'm saying? We just keeping the pardons and the expungements running.
Okay. And Sherman Phoenix.
Yep, at the Sherman Phoenix.
Okay. Well, I'm not gonna beat a dead horse this week. We're gonna get out of here. Hopefully we just left you with a lot to think about and a lot to talk about. That's the whole point of it. Nobody's on here to come off as some kind of all-knowing, omnipresent entity. I just like to touch on topics that as a foundational Black American, I saw that were important to me. And so I feel like sometimes people need to be informed because not everybody knows everything. So sometimes you may hear something on here and you say, I didn't even know that. Let me go and look that up. Because that's what happens to me a lot. I run across information after digesting a bunch of bullshit, and I'm like, oh, well, I didn't know that. Oh, that's interesting, man. That's crazy right there. So that's all. That's our only intention. It's just meant for foundational Black Americans to, number one, understand their greatness and embrace it, right? And also shutting out the noise from the background that's telling you who or what you can't be. That's something you just cannot absolutely accept. You have to believe in yourself and you have to love yourself. Nothing else is going to happen for you until you get to that point. You are looking for love, but you don't love yourself. It's going to make it harder, right? And I tend to believe that people who don't love themselves cannot love anyone else until they get over that hurdle. And so sometimes what they call it, shadow work, sometimes you got to sit down and you got to go inward and say, let me try to do some inventory. Let me take stock on where I'm at. Because there has to be a reason why I'm not gaining or moving in the direction that I should be or desire to be moving into, especially in regards to relationships and having a man or having a woman. And sometimes it's just that we or you as an individual lack humility. And humility is very important. All this is a concoction, man. All this is a whole mix. It's a mesh, if you will, an amalgamation of what we call getting right. That's what we really want you to invest in. But keep striving, keep going. It's a struggle. It's a process. It goes on. It never stops. The one thing that you can focus on doing, or there's two things that I say all the time. There's only two things in life you can actually really control, and you have to be aware of them. One is your attitude, and one is your effort. And those are the two things that you always, no matter what anybody says, no matter where you at, you can control. And if you can get a hold of them and manage them, then you'll be the type of person who does things instead of always talking about things. In other words, your contribution to the community will outweigh your criticism of it. Because if that's where you're standing at, we are most definitely for sure going to refer to you as a coon. Until next time, man, keep your head on the swivel. Y'all be easy, man. Peace and love. Shout out to Kamar. Hit up that event this weekend. Hit up to Sherman Phoenix. Get you some vitality. And hit my Cash App. Damn, it's been a while. I'm just joking. I'll see y'all Monday, man. Peace and love, man.
Peace.